Hey guys, welcome to another Trade Genius podcast. Got my good friend Bob Kudla here. We're going to talk about housing. If you're looking to buy in this market, we would say wait. We got some interesting stats to put things into perspective for you. Let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
Okay, Bob. So, obviously, I think everyone can agree that the housing market has slowed somewhat in terms of transaction volumes and things like that. Prices, not so much. So, if you're looking to buy, would you buy here, Bob?
I'd be looking to rent because really the advantage now is for renters versus buyers. And, you're going to show a chart after I show my chart that will prove that point. But look, the environment is such that, especially now that Trump's defederalizing a lot of the spending, I think you're going to see costs now start creeping back into the local and state level. And I think you're going to see pressure on property taxes as well. I think they're going to go up some more, Phil. And so I think the people that are renting are going to probably have more flexibility. And especially for young people, let me throw this chart up. This is the vacancy rates. Pretty scary. And how about all the people now in the federal government have to go back to actually their jobs? These second and third tier cities where people were living pretty cheap, now they're going to have to abandon their apartments and move back to the big city again. And you're going to see, I think, rental rates really prices collapse. And it's going to be one of those things that's going to help the 10-year too over time. So I thought I'd share that with people. Remember, one thing that you said when we were in the midst of COVID, everything's going to come back to pre-COVID. And we're slowly starting to see that. And that'll include the stock market at some point too. But this is the rental one. I think you want to talk about the purchase one as well, which is just as scary the other way.
Yeah, so I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? Rental vacancies, rent. It's just how the affordability of housing is what this is about. So rentals, rents are too high, and the prices of homes historically are just far too high. It'd be one thing if from this chart goes back to 2020, right around when COVID started. It would be one thing if housing prices were only up 27% from then, right? That would just be, commensurate with inflation. However, we're not there. And then if you look at, you got two problems. You got one where housing has inflated far more than CPI or true inflation. And then you also have mortgage rates that have more than doubled, right? On average, probably about 3.5% back then versus about 7+% now. And so, I ran some quick numbers. If you were to take just the CPI inflation, right, and apply it to housing, any sold house prior to 2020, and you factor in the inflation rate from then, because of the fact that the mortgages are now 7%, it actually would require that house to be even less than what it sold for pre-COVID just to maintain the same affordability. And the problem now is like a lot of the transactions lately are cash buyers. Well, that's drying up. There's only so many people. Majority of home purchases are with a mortgage. And so we are way over our skis. And I think because of that, there's just going to be a further drying up of demand because we have to get back to more affordable price levels on these houses. And I just thought that was very telling that we would have to get not only back to COVID levels, but below those last previous sells on those homes that happened before COVID to make them just as affordable. So we have a massive disconnect here. And when you have something like that, you are at risk of a big rug pull in all of the comps in the housing market to come back down. And yeah, it's like another setup where it looks like we'll round trip everything back to pre-COVID levels. So, buying up here, unless you found the dream home and you're going to retire there and you got the cash and you just don't care, then it doesn't make a lot of sense if you do care to be buying up here. And like you said, you're better to rent it out. And rents are starting to come down. I'm seeing that in many places. So, it's just one of those situations where I think the American consumer has a hard time with patience. We've become a society where it's like, fulfill my needs right now. But I think this is one of those situations where you take it easy, rent it out. And I think you're going to be very happy to see where prices are going to go over the next 18 to 24 months.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen pretty fast. I mean, look at DC. Since the election, the median sale price of a home fell by 163,000. Now, there's a reason for that, obviously, because of all the layoffs, but you can also start seeing it. People bought homes in Idaho that bailed out right out of the tech area. They're going to have to go back
It's happening.
Quit. Yeah. And so you're going to see, there's going to be a lot of areas where you're going to see prices really, really start to suffer. I would think Arizona, I would think Vegas, the Intermountain West area is going to probably suffer a little bit. And then DC itself is just going to get hollowed out, which is really wild. And that's the most expensive real estate in the country. And it's going to come down pretty hard. So it's one of those things we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. It's actually starting to happen. Here it is, proof in the pudding. I think once this Doge thing really goes, I just read yesterday that a couple other massive firms are just laying off so many people because of they're re-architecturing their company to take advantage of all the new technology tools out there. I think it's going to be a bloodbath before it gets better, Phil.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, let us know your thoughts on our housing information, our housing stats here. Love to hear what you think. Post those comments below. As always, thank you, Bob. And if you guys are interested in what we do and want to hang out with us in our trading room, head over to tradegenius.co. We're in there every day looking for opportunities to make money in this market. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Bob. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.
Trade Genius.